What's up everybody, it's Robin Gaming here. So it was awesome to see how, with the whole news story of Visceral Games being closed by EA and stuff recently, it was great to see how many people stood up and spoke, about the fact that they wanted to see more single player games and that they were disappointed that they aren't being made as much anymore, right? Just to defend them and stuff. Like, there's been this whole kind of like just discussion about it everywhere on Twitter, on YouTube, people, sharing their opinions and stuff about it. And in that way, I think it's probably going to prove to be quite beneficial again for, single player games in general, because I'm sure game developers took notice of it, you know what I mean? Now, today I actually want to talk a bit about Rockstar Games. Of course, GTA 5 was a massive success. Game sold like, 70 million plus copies, I think, by now, which is just absolutely insane. But a lot of people noticed how Rockstar, for the very first time in a long time at least, never really brought out any single player DLC for that game, even though they did it with GTA 4 with The Lost and Damned, right, and the Battle of Gay Tony, which were both, in my opinion, great expansions, especially the last one. Red Dead Redemption had some single player DLC. The Undead Nightmare campaign was really great too, like an awesome alternate sort of like, DLC to what that game itself normally would be, with the fact that they added zombies, which seemed a little corny at first, but it actually worked very well for the setting, and that DLC also proved to be, great. A lot of people wanted GTA 5 to have, similar single player DLC and stuff. And I think you also saw that people were kind of like blaming the fact that GTA Online was so successful, and that Rockstar was simply not bothering with it because they were making so much money on, all the content that they were putting out in GTA Online and the microtransactions, the shortcuts that people were buying. So, it's just been a lot of questions being asked there by people where the single player DLC was. So, Game Informer actually interviewed Rockstar Games very recently, the director of design to be precise, who is called Imran Sarwar, and he pretty much answered the question, why, if it was a conscious decision or not, whether there was no, kind of like a single player DLC for GTA 5. So here's what he had to say. He says, no, it was not really a conscious decision. It's just what happened. With GTA 5, the single player game was absolutely massive and very, very complete. It was 3 games in one. The next gen versions took a year of everyone's time to get right, and then the online component had a lot of potential, but to come close to realizing that potential also sucked up a lot of resources. And then there are other games, in particular Red Dead Redemption 2. The combination of these three factors means for this game that we did not feel single player expansions were either possible or necessary. We would love to do more single player add-ons for games in the future. As a company, we love single player more than anything and believe in it absolutely. For storytelling and the sense of immersion in a world, multiplayer games don't rival single player games. That's what he had to say, and once again, it's great coming from people like that. It's not really like I was ever very afraid of single player not being important to Rockstar anymore, because we already saw with, the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailers recently, they're very much looking to focus first on the fact that it will be a story-focused game. Obviously, it's gonna have online and it's gonna be built out again after launch, and that's all fine with me. A game can have both a great single player and multiplayer, right? But yeah, it's simply good to see that they're still focusing on that. And at the same time, like I said, I really think, and Rockstar understands this, Rockstar has been making quality single player games, putting the focus on that aspect of gaming for how many years already? I mean, a couple of decades at least, right? So they know that that's what makes them stand out, and they know that that's why people love that company and why people love their games. And I think it's a very sort of like similar situation with how GTA 5 was sold compared to how most consoles, for example, will sell and stuff, is that you always start off with the core gamers. You make a game that the core gamers really want to play, and from there on it can, grow and build up, right? Like, that's the same with how GTA 5 was promoted. At first, the reason why it was so successful at launch was because people wanted to play that single player, not necessarily the multiplayer. I mean, that was cool and it was there, and people were also excited for that, but the single player was the main reason, and they're gonna do the exact same thing moving moving forward with Red Dead Redemption 2, with the next GTA, 6, whenever that will come out and stuff, it's gonna, have both, right? But at first, what's really put at the front is the great single player experience. And that's awesome to me to see. It's also what Rockstar, to me at least, what they're really good at, right? Like what Rockstar does so well is both, well, it's simply storytelling actually in an open world. You don't usually see it being done that well. That's why I'm usually not the biggest fan of open world games, but for Rockstar, I'll gladly make an exception. Like, not only are those worlds super detailed and awesomely worked out, but the stories that they actually tell are still very quality, even though it, takes place in an open world, right? And yeah, it's for that reason, it's for the vibe that they create, which I absolutely love in all their games, especially in Red Dead Redemption, so I can't wait for the second one there. But yeah, basically, the reason why I love those games is obviously for the single player, and I think that will count for many people with me. So it's good to, it's good to see this, and it's good to once again see gamers standing up about the fact that they want more single player in their games. So with that being said, let me know, of course, your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about this? Were you disappointed that GTA 5 never got, single player DLC and stuff? And do you understand the reasonings? And then for now, leave a quick like, of course, to help support my channel. I really appreciate it. And then I'd like to thank you a lot for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.